Do you wish you knew exactly how to write a sales post to attract soulmate clients using the most powerful gifts from your astrology chart? Well, guess what? Now you can learn how for free. I'm going to share my cosmic copywriting secrets that have helped people to instantly turn strangers on the internet into buyers for their high-ticket offers. In my 5-part training series, Cosmic Attraction Copywriting, you'll learn the mindset switch that takes my clients from feeling confused about their content or not feeling fully safe to share their story online to making sales more easily and naturally than ever before, with the astrological placement that unlocks a new level of depth in your storytelling that builds trust 10 times faster with the clients who are genuinely a very aligned fit to work with you. Plus, the messaging tweaks that take my clients from attracting people who can't afford it to easy sales into 5-figure offers with no sales calls. And you'll get clarity on the 3 things your soulmate clients need to hear from you consistently in your message to feel confident and excited to buy your offer. You'll also get my writing process prompts to share your story in a powerful way that stands out to the right people and leads to ready to buy clients popping up into your DMs asking to work with you. Click the link in the description for instant access to Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a 6-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, I'm Sarah Mack, here to help you become a 6-figure creative by filling your high-ticket offer through authentic storytelling and astrology-guided content strategy. And welcome to part 3 in my astrology marketing series. If you didn't already check out part 1 and 2, in part 1, we went into overgiving and where to look in your chart to see where the root causes of this pattern might be hiding out so you can shift that behavior to open you up, to have the capacity to receive more and to welcome in more abundance in your money and your business and the way that you're making that money. It's so good. Definitely go check it out. And in part 2, we started to look at Saturn, particularly through the lens of long-term strategy. And I shared why search engine optimization is a really valuable strategy worth considering. Now that Instagram is searchable on Google, so it's something that really can help you to create more organic traffic in your Instagram account. So definitely go check that one out. And today we're going to look a little bit more specifically at your Saturn placement and how that can help you and guide you to build a content creation strategy that actually works for you long term. And, this conversation is about shifting your focus to prioritize what actually works to get you paid and to find a way to do it that is joyful and that's in alignment with who you are and your strengths and weaknesses as you build your business and your soul work and your community and bring your big dreams to life. So if you are loving this conversation of blending astrology with content strategy and business and marketing and making money and doing your soul work and doing it in alignment, then the Cosmic Copy Mastermind is the place for you. It's such an exciting place to be having these conversations with other like-minded creative badasses who are making big moves, making money, filling their high ticket offers, doing their unique work, and changing the world in the process. And this is the place to get my guidance to turn your unique magic and gifts into powerful sales copy that's going to attract the dreamiest clients into your high ticket offer. And we do that through 2 really powerful cosmic copy workshops each month, where we'll use your astrology chart to design your content strategy and build the skills that are going to get you paid on repeat month after month. Plus, in Voxer coaching, where I'm going to support you to really prioritize the things that are going to fill your offers, have the most fun doing it, and doing it sustainably in alignment with who you are at the core, and really bring that magic out from your astrology chart into a business that not only brings you so much soul growth and fulfillment, but is really the fastest path to making an impact and reaching the income goals that you desire and so deserve to be receiving for your magic. So if you're tired of having so many unanswered questions around your messaging and how to fill your offers and where the heck to find your soulmate clients that are actually ready to invest in your work and how to make sales feel easy, creatively fulfilling, consistent, and fun, go and click the link below to apply. Jump in and get the support that you deserve to reach your goals this year. So let's talk about how understanding your Saturn placement can help us to really commit and follow through, and for it to be sustainable and joyful for us to make the moves that we need to make to actually hit those big dreams and to achieve our long-term goals without it feeling like you've got your nose to the grindstone the whole time, without feeling like you have to sacrifice your integrity or pretend to be someone that you're not, or force yourself, as like a square peg into a round hole, or whatever that saying is. And I think this is such an important conversation to have around content strategy, because there are a million options out there these days. And just because something's worked really well for someone doesn't mean it's going to work really well for you. So understanding your Saturn placement can give us such a great lens through which to make decisions on what we're going to say yes to and what we're going to say no to, and how to make something continue to work for us in those moments where it starts to get crunchy. That's really what Saturn is all about. It's like going to school and sitting your butt down and learning your lessons and, writing out your lines, doing the reps, whatever you need to do on repeat over and over and over again to actually become the person who is capable of creating and holding the things that you say that you want. And as we know, sometimes that does not feel good. We're going to come up against our edges. We might be bored to tears by being in repetition with something. But the truth is, I take that back. I've never been bored to tears in my business. um, I've never been bored to tears. And I think being able to move through the resistance, that's the bit that's hard, because our bodies and our unconscious and our systems are programmed to stay the same. We're programmed to resist change. So no matter where I'm at in my business, no matter how strong my skill set becomes, there's always going to be that layer of resistance to move through. And yeah, even when I'm doing something for the millionth time that I know I'm good at, that I know works, when I know it's taking me to that next level, it's always a little bit uncomfortable to move through the gap into following through and taking action. That's just always there. So understanding our Saturn helps us to know what kind of support systems and habits can we put in place to just make it easier to move through the resistance, to create continual growth in the direction that we're excited about and that's in alignment for us. So I want to break this down according to whether your Saturn placement is fixed or mutable or cardinal. So there's so much power in this knowledge and this understanding about ourselves. So I'm just going to go through them. And obviously, you may have a lot of other placements that are in these different modes. So pay attention first and foremost for your Saturn, but also pay attention to where you have modal dominance in your chart. So fixed would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Fixed energy is actually really good at consistency, really good at sticking with it and building one painstaking brick after another. So the shadow side of that is actually being too fixed, being too rigid and sticking to a plan and finding it difficult to start new things or to switch things up when they, might be getting a little bit stale. So this is the main lesson of a Saturn in any of these signs, is knowing when it's time to make big changes in your work or business. It's so important to feed that need for consistency in your daily habits and routines, and to really lean into tweaking, just constant tweaking. And I've definitely felt challenged by this. I have a fixed Saturn in Scorpio, and I also have a lot of mutable energy in my chart. So I have a tendency to either want to like burn it all down and start from scratch, because or just stick with what I'm already doing. And that middle ground that I have to really work to access is to just make small tweaks. You don't need to burn it all down. You don't need to start over from scratch, but it's not going to work if you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. So finding that middle ground of just what's like a small shift that would actually make a really big difference, and always being in that conversation in my business, and yes, feeling the resistance to it, but having my support structures in place to sit my butt down and make the changes, which, as we all know, once we do that, sometimes it can actually feel so much easier than we thought, or it can take so much less time than we thought. It's the getting to it that can feel the heaviest or like the hardest part of the work. The Cosmic Copy Mastermind is the place to get the support that will bring your dream of becoming a six-figure creative to life in 2025 by selling your high-ticket offers with sales copy driven by stories and guided by astrology. Your goal is to fill your high-ticket offer with dreamy soul clients. But right now, you're wondering what exactly needs to shift in your content to start seeing consistent sales month after month, right? You're posting consistently, and maybe you're even getting great engagement, but you can't quite figure out why people aren't lining up to buy your life-changing offer. You know your work is incredible. Maybe you're even getting a ton of referral clients, but when it comes to putting your unique magic into words that clearly paint the picture of what it's actually like to work with you, it feels complicated. Or maybe you keep getting in your head about your high-ticket prices and thinking that that's the problem. Well, let me tell you, it's not your price. You're not alone in this. It's not easy to put your magic into clear copy that converts when you try to do it alone. I've made multiple six figures in my business, and I've written copy for more than 1,000 entrepreneurs, and I continually invest in mentorship around messaging. Why? Because it makes it easier to consistently create content that leads to sales every month. That's why I created this mastermind, where we'll use your astrology chart to remind you of your unique genius, gifts, and personal story, using personalized prompts with my hands-on support and edits to translate all your magic into content that's building your six-figure brand in a way that feels authentic, aligned, and so much fun. This is my magic, helping you to attract deeply compatible clients through authentic storytelling driven by your unique astrology, and doing it in an inspiring community of other creative entrepreneurs making big moves, living life to the full, and building your version of a six-figure dream business. Message me the word mastermind on Instagram at SarahMacMagic for the full details. So if your Saturn is an immutable sign, which would be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, mutable energy loves to switch it up. It is fed and driven by curiosity for the new and for the different. So obviously, when you're building a long-term strategy, you don't want to be switching it up all the time. So something really supportive that you can do is find ways to feed that part of you without burning down your business or abandoning your strategy. And something that you can do within your long-term strategy is keep a variety of options on rotation. So, something else, here's an idea is you could keep one main container, like a one-on-one or a mastermind, and then you could, within that client work, create on a variety of topics for your clients who once they're inside. But you don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel, constantly launch a new offer to feed that curiosity and that passion. And the last mode is cardinal. So if your Saturn is in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, your strength is starting new things. And you love to do that. And you're really good at that, which is such a strength. But the shadow side of that can be constantly starting new things and not actually following through on that. So, something you can think about is how to feed that part of you in the lowest impact way in your business. And honestly, maybe the lowest impact way is to just let yourself go wild and start new things. Um, but make sure that you create simple, sustainable systems to really follow through on your ideas. And maybe that means outsourcing or automating, or again, like having a long-term container, or maybe to scratch that itch, you need to go out there and just start new hobbies and new creative projects on the side all the time. So you're not trying to scratch that itch inside your business. So if you have fixed or mutable, you can really get support or work with a mentor to focus on launching a project, knowing that that's the area that you're going to need the support. And then, again, it's so beneficial to have long-term containers. Fixed energy, you're going to thrive in that. And then mutable energy, knowing that really giving yourself permission to switch it up, what you're doing, and allow you to follow that curiosity within longer time containers is the way that you're going to just feel better sustaining something over the long term. Um, and obviously, for cardinal energy, if you do want to launch new things all the time, really lean into that, but balance your workload by keeping your strategy really simple and repeatable and having support people in place to share the workload for all the pieces. So the key here is to find simple ways to feed these needs within you without getting that need solely met through your business. And it took me a long time to notice that I was actually doing this, and then, really actually create some separation between me and my business to be like, my business is not my life. Um, It does not need to fulfill all of my needs, even though, let's be honest, our businesses do have the capacity to do that. And I think that's why it's so easy to kind of slip into being really freaking codependent in our businesses. We get the validation, we get creative self-expression, um, we get connection. So many of our needs can be met through our work when we have personal brands, when we really are following our soul work and being creatively led. But it's so important to set some good boundaries and find ways to meet those needs through the other parts of life, which are also so fulfilling and fun and enjoyable. And when we do that, that creates so much more of a strong foundation for us to really show up and thrive. Um, and to have less toxic dynamics where you're just really freaking codependent and you have to change up your business to meet that need when you feel that that need isn't being met in your outside life. So know that whatever strength your Saturn brings you, it's also really useful for your clients. So partner with clients in a complementary way and brainstorm ways that this strength can support others and build your services around that. So when it comes to building a content system through the lens of what we've just learned about your Saturn placement in your astrology chart, again, we always want to come back to what are your actual goals in your brand and for the content that you're creating. Presumably, if you're here listening to this podcast, it's to fill your offers, it's to reach more people with your work, and to have a consistent income from new sales or continuing to work with existing clients. So the truth is, growing online and growing on social media and growing an audience, it's a long game process that requires daily commitment and consistency. Filling an offer can happen much, much faster than building an audience, especially when it's high ticket. because that can bring a big influx of cash with just a small number of new clients. But that's not going to happen purely through social media. Social media is one piece in your content ecosystem. So the key mindset that has really helped me and that I really hammer on about, especially with clients who are newly launching high ticket or have a new business, but is so helpful no matter what stage you're at in business, is to just have that one person at a time mentality. And another really helpful mindset switch to be making more sales is to shift from thinking about your content strategy and your content system and having process goals, which can be a really great way to focus. But if you ever find like you're lacking in sales, or you're feeling just kind of like bogged down by over complexity, or like your strategy isn't actually working, switch to refocus on having conversations. Think of every piece of content as a conversation, and seeing everybody and every connection that is made through your content pieces as something that is building a relationship with actual human beings. And I like to think of content in three distinct intentions. The first one is content that's making new relationships. So this is networking. This can happen in DMs. This can happen in events, whether that's in person or online. This is gaining new followers, just any new connections with someone who's new to your world that you haven't had a conversation with before. This always needs to be happening if you want future clients and consistency in your business. The next content bucket is content that warms up that relationship. So this is kind of like get to know you content, where you've met that person, you've had an introduction, and this is really, what social media is great for, because you can kind of gather your connections in this one place. You get people to follow you, you connect with them online, and then you continue to build that relationship by sharing about yourself so that people know who you are. And of course, it has to be reciprocal, right? I think this is the piece that so many people often miss, is making sure that you're in a two-way conversation. You're not just posting and ghosting, but you're really answering the question for yourself: who are your clients? Who are the people in your audience that you are here to serve? Do you know them really well? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they saying? What are they needing? And really inviting engagement from that place of, I want to get to know you, not just I need engagement so that my content reaches more people, so that I get more clients, and I'm looking to get, right? The key to sales is authentic connection and true, genuine relationships. And that only happens when that conversation is two-way. So it doesn't matter where you're having that conversation, as long as it's being had. If it's in the DMs, if it's on a Zoom call, if it's in person, if it's through some type of event that you're throwing online or offline, be having conversations. Let them get to know you, be sharing your story. Don't just be hiding around fluff or teaching content, and be getting to know them and where they're at right now. And then the final content bucket is content that sells. So this is content that educates people about your work and how you help through your offers. And most importantly, if you want to be making sales, how they can buy from you. And these are obviously your calls to action. They have to know what step to take next, and you have to make it easy for them if you want making more sales to be easy. So if you're doing each of these three things every day in some way, and you can definitely do all of these through one piece of content or a couple of pieces of content, you are going to start seeing consistent sales. And it actually doesn't matter how you're doing it. If one day you go to an event and you have a conversation in person, the next day you do a live stream, or the next day you share an email, as long as you're relatively consistent in the spaces that you are showing up in, it really doesn't matter where you're showing up. And if you focus on this approach versus, obsessing over the style or the type of content, you'll figure it out, right? You'll figure out what is most accessible for you and your current level of skill and your current capacity and your current likes and dislikes with the online landscape and how you like to create. And it's absolutely okay to change platform. You really get to play until you find that style of creating that you like best. So think about how you can leverage the strengths and feed the needs of your Saturn placement as you do each of these things, and how you can support what doesn't come naturally to you by building simple, consistent support structures to create simple consistency in the results in your business. So here's here's what that looks like for me. I have a fixed Saturn in Scorpio in my third house, and I've been publishing a weekly podcast for almost 5 years now. It took me a while to actually launch it. But once I did, I'm golden. I love it. I keep it so simple, and no matter what, I get it done. I've also been sending between one up to as many as 5 emails a week to my email list since I started back in 2017. And again, I was in resistance for a couple of years, but once I got going, I'm good. And I've been showing up and creating content consistently on social since 2017. I've honestly not gone more than probably about a week without posting something. That has radically changed. I went through a Facebook era, I went through a LinkedIn era, I've dabbled in YouTube. My mainstay is Instagram. And that's really been the one place that I just consistently enjoy showing up. And that doesn't mean it's been trouble-free and that I've loved every second. But I get to be honest with myself about, number one, that's where my people are. And number two, it is just where I like to show up and create. And again, even before starting my own marketing that was back when I was a freelance copywriter, I resisted that for about 2 years. It really took me time to get going. And I needed a lot of support with that. I needed mindset support. I needed strategic support. I needed accountability. I needed logistics support in my business to get all of these things, these new channels up and running. But then I was really able to leverage that fixed energy and stay consistent and committed. And I've definitely grown and adapted and shifted my business a lot over the years. And I do have a lot of mutable energy, particularly with my 10th house and my midheaven in Gemini. And I'm also a Virgo rising. But I've been pretty militant with my daily habits of meditating, yoga, and journaling since day one in my business. And that honestly was the foundation that I needed to really feed that fixed Saturn to keep me grounded as I was traveling the world to 18 countries, growing my business, launching tons of offers. And then when I created more stability in my home life, living in the same place day to day, I actually haven't been as consistent with my morning routine, but that's okay because I was getting that need for fixed and stable energy from my day-to-day life already. But again, whenever I'm looking to make a shift or really ramp things up in my business, I lean back into those daily habits and they really support me. So I would love to hear what came up for you. Let me know. And I hope you've loved this astrology marketing series. Next month, I'm actually going to be doing a series on how to heal patterns of undercharging and under-earning so you can massively raise your prices and work less, earn more, create more freedom, create more impact, reach the clients who are aligned with those strategic decisions in your business, and live your dream life and business now. So I hope you have loved this episode. Please send me a DM or tag me in your stories on Instagram at Sarah Mac Magic or Creative Magic Club. Let me know your takeaways. And please, please, please go and leave a review over on iTunes. And I will love you forever. See you next week. Bye. For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.